Hello, welcome to my social marketing campaign on Zika virus disease prevention. During the summer months in South Carolina, not only does the temperature rise, but the opportunity to be annoyed by a mosquito or two while outside enjoying your yard. Mosquitoes can make or break your family fun, but are also responsible for disease transmission, killing 445,000 people from malaria alone in 2016. Other mosquito-borne diseases such as West Nile, dengue, and chikungunya can also cause individuals to become very sick and even pass away, all from their contact with a very small insect. With mosquitoes needing water in which to breed, one of the basic control measures is reducing the amount of water in and around areas where people live, work, and play. Some of these areas are not that easy to reduce water, such as lakes, rivers, streams, and swamps, which, depending on weather conditions, will determine mosquito breeding. Most of the mosquitoes found in these areas contribute to the diseases mentioned above, as they will breed in natural areas. However, some species of mosquitoes breed in non-natural areas or containers, which are more likely to be found closer to areas where humans will live. These containers can be buckets, tires, roof gutters, bird baths, or even pet dishes. Anything which can hold water for an indefinite time, but not necessarily something found in nature. This presents a large problem for a state with a subtropical climate like South Carolina, with temperatures averaging 65 degrees for the year. This means longer potential breeding times for mosquitoes and, in residential areas, more time to breed in those containers in and around the yard. So why does this present a problem for those residential, primarily urbanized areas of South Carolina? It is a problem from the emergence of Zika virus, a vector-borne disease transmitted by the container-breeding mosquitoes Aedes albopictus and Aedes aegypti. So what is the purpose of this campaign? Obviously, when residents have the knowledge about mosquitoes and where they breed, making sure their potential for Zika virus is less. Since Aedes albopictus and Aedes aegypti are container-breeding mosquitoes, the main purpose of this campaign should be on those containers in and around the residents which could hold water. But to be more specific about which containers, we will define the purpose and focus of this campaign as reducing idle water holding containers in urbanized areas of South Carolina, targeting property owners with unmaintained yards. Now that the decision has been made and we have identified the behavior change and the target audience, the most important part of the social marketing campaign needs to be done, the marketing portion. Foremost, the message must be simple and to the point. Will make the desired behavior more important than non-action. Many individuals are unaware of how mosquitoes breed, where they breed, and what diseases they can contract from a mosquito bite. For this campaign, relaying the message that discarding these idle containers will lessen the chance of getting sick. Not just dumping the water, but completely removing them from their property. Part of that strategy will be the 3 whats. What do you want them to do? What do you want them to know? And what do you want them to believe? First, the message of the desired behavior needs to be conveyed. Discarding those idle containers which have or could hold water will need to be done so the resident can begin looking at the options presented to them, either through their own recycling bin or the other option of a nearby recycling center or vector control assistance. Vector control is a local program that deals specifically with mosquito breeding. Secondly, the message of mosquito breeding in these containers will only enhance their desire to discard the containers, especially if they did not know they could contribute to mosquito breeding by keeping them on their property. Lastly, the message must make them believe that they are contributing to their own health by performing the desired behavior. Many who are unable to maintain their yards could already have medical conditions which Zika virus could only exacerbate. If they believe they can control their current health status, it can go a long way to make sure they continue discarding those containers on a regular basis. A good way of delivering a message is through someone or something many think highly of, or an influential other. Since this campaign focuses on the state of South Carolina, a message from one of these two would probably be most beneficial. One of the first individuals who would be deemed trustworthy likable, and have expertise would be a member of the South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Control, the public health agency for the state. This could be a state entomologist who works directly with mosquitoes, or the state entomologist who deals with disease outbreaks. Or it could even be a member of the South Carolina Mosquito Control Association who works directly with all the vector control programs in the state. A second option, and one which could have a major impact due to its proximity to South Carolina, is a member of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in Atlanta. Most of the guidance state public health agencies like SCDHEC and across the United States receive is from the CDC, so having a member speak about how dangerous Zika virus is and how to reduce the possibility of contracting it by discarding idle water-holding containers. Since the influential other would be someone from one of these two, the perceived sponsor would have to be SCDHEC or the CDC. My creative message strategy will be based on a simple ad, which is most important to those residents to convey the three whats mentioned above. What do you want them to do? What do you want them to know? And what do you want them to believe? When creating a message, I chose to incorporate them in easy to recognize visuals. Take a look at the mosquito, the containers, and the recycling bin. This message can be used, when refined, for distribution to residents, on billboards, or even in community newsletters. It is a simplistic but very informative without using a great deal of words. With the ad having a very simplistic message, with a very simplistic design, the communication channel needs to be as simplistic as well. Since not all residents of South Carolina live in urbanized areas where the campaign will make the most sense, targeted geographic areas are needed. This is where the traditional print media would be most useful. Although the ad could be adapted for more non-traditional and new communication channels, distribution may be best served at the local level. This means by pamphlets at community events, homeowners association newsletters, through local vector control programs once the buy-in is established, and in local newspapers. This campaign must reach out to the targeted population, and having a commercial on television or the radio may not resonate with the visual of the ad. Also, having the pamphlet in their hands will make the knowledge and belief portion of the campaign a bit more palatable. For those influential others who may be participating in the campaign, the other traditional communication channels would be more advantageous. This would also include the aforementioned non-traditional and new communication channels such as social media. If buy-in is established by a member of SCDHEC or the CDC, not only can the information about the potential harm of Zika virus be relayed, but emphasizing the prevention and behavior of discarding idle water-holding containers can be disseminated in many different ways. Radio, television, and social media, to include YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, would be beneficial if done properly. A video of actually looking for and discarding the containers in a recycling bin could also be a creative message, especially if the visual of mosquito breeding is present. Thank you for viewing my social media campaign.